Rev up your engines!
Scotty, this is Kevin. I visited you when I was in Rhode Island. Would you mind mentioning in your videos that there are fake OEM parts sold on eBay or Amazon? They come in a Toyota or Honda box with the actual parts numbers, but are cheap quality and made in China. Please tell people about this. Back in the day, I used to buy some parts online. I generally don't buy parts online anymore for that very same reason. They're in a box that looks like they are. I got a set of front brake rotors that said they were made by Lexus, the box, but the rotors themselves didn't have anything on them. They warped in about 6,000 miles, and then when we hit the brakes, the steering wheel shook. There's no way brake rotors on a Lexus should warp after 6,000 miles of driving, but in this case, they were. They really weren't Lexus parts, but it said so on the box. So they're putting them in boxes that they're very good at counterfeiting the boxes. Or maybe they're buying real boxes. I don't know. But the parts themselves aren't that way. That's the problem if you buy car parts online. It's generally too late. You got your car taken apart. The part comes. You get ready to put, oh, it's the wrong one. Well, are you going to say, well, I got my car all apart, now I got to put it all back together again so I drive it, send the part back. Most people say, oh, well, I'll try it and see what happens. And you try and find out it doesn't work all that well. That's why I buy parts locally most of the time. There's plenty of auto parts stores around. Check, get out of the box, look at it. See if it's got matching numbers on the part and the box. Not just the box that looks real, but the parts have to be real too. Plus, if you're dealing with local people, they gotta deal with you now. You don't have to wait sending it back and forth or it gets lost. Or then you call them up and then you get some clown on the phone like I did years ago when I ordered a hub for my Celica with bearings. And I said, it's the wrong one. Oh, no, it isn't. That's the wrong one for your car. I said, my car has 5 lugs. This only has 4. It can't be the right one. That's nonsense. They don't pay these people that work at those places all that much. And since they're not dealing with you face to face, they can be as rude or obnoxious as they want because they're never going to see you. You're never going to see them. That's why I buy local. Don't buy stuff like that. There's too many ifs. Will Rev says I got a steering angle sensor ABS light on my Toyota Tundra with 223,000 miles. Both rear wheel bearings and seals were changed, and my truck started throwing a UO126 code. The ABS wheel sensors are working properly, but my ABS light is on. My speedometer is also jumping around. The live data says steering angle is minus 503 degrees no matter how hard I turn left or right. Do you think this is a coincidence that it happened after the rear wheel bearing replacement happened? The dealer wants $1,200 to replace the SAS and the clock spring. One must always be logical with car repair. You do a repair, and immediately after it starts shifting this UO126 code, our communication codes. Now, your whole car has a bunch of wires going through it, and with modern computer lines, they have a main line, it's called a bus line, just like a bus you ride, but means different. You got low speed data, medium speed data, and high speed data. Any problem on any of those lines can feed back and make your car go bonkers. I'm assuming if that work was done on a rear axle, that the wiring or something was damaged back there. Some of them have speed sensors on the differential that could have been damaged. There's all kinds of things that go wrong. But you have to start logical. If your car has no communication codes, work is done, you start driving, all of a sudden the light comes on, you got a communication code, 99.99% of the time, that is because something went wrong during the work. Since your car is all electrically connected, you get a short in any system, it can feed back and destroy other systems. So I would say start by checking at the differential for any kind of sensor problems, or pay a mechanic like me with a fancy scan tool to look to see, is this communicating anymore? What has happened? Because if you get a short in a sensor in a differential, it can feed back and it can destroy other things. Because the computer systems have no fuses. They work at such low power, they can't have fuses. So if they do get a short, they can feed back to the computer and they can short stuff out. Let's pray it didn't mess up your computer system, because I've seen people get a job like that and they'll say, well, it's $1,200 to replace this stuff, and then they find out, oh, the computer's ruined too, and then they want another couple grand for fixing that on top of it. If it happened right after that work and you got a communication code, different problem than what they're saying. Angle sensor isn't just going to go bad right when you did the work. No, that really doesn't happen. Tab says, I'm thinking about using a lithium battery for my motorcycle for daily use. Is it a bad idea? It probably is. Normal lead acid batteries, especially in motorcycles, have been used forever. Now, I tried lithium iron phosphate batteries in 2 of my motorcycles. One of them, it worked okay, but the other one, it only lasted about 9 months and it broke. The problem is the lithium batteries have to be charged differently than lead acid batteries, okay? Your motorcycle or car, whatever you're going to try to put a lithium battery in instead of lead acid, it's got a charging system that's made to charge a lead acid battery. Give you an example. I have the lithium iron phosphate batteries lying around. When I charge them up externally, not in the vehicle, my charging machine says, what kind of battery is it? And you got to put it lithium or it won't charge it correctly. It'll wear it out. Sometimes it'll even start on fire. They got to be charged correctly. Your motorcycle, if you try to put it in a car, that charging system was made to charge up a lead-acid battery. You put a completely different type of battery in it, who knows? It might destroy your car's charging system. In the case of my motorcycle, the thing only lasted 9 months and it didn't go. Stick to lead-acid technology in there. I mean, that's what it came with. That's what it was designed for. I don't think that they will charge them right. From my experience, it didn't last all that long. Now, interesting enough, it did last a long time in the little motorcycle I had that's only 600 cc's, but I hardly drove it all. And that only real test would have been to actually drive it thousands of miles, which I didn't do. I did on the other motorcycle, and then that one broke in 9 months. With the other one, I didn't use it all. So I guess if you don't use your motorcycle hardly at all, it's probably a good idea because it can sit there for a long time and not discharge. But if you use it every day, no, not a smart idea. Roman 256 says, I'm looking for advice. I've never owned a vehicle. I found a Honda CR-V 2013 with 70,000 miles without accidents for $16,750. Is it okay to pay this for a car, even if it's a Honda? Well, the prices have gone totally bananas. Now, if you can absolutely, positively prove that thing really only has 70,000 miles and you got to get a car, you might as well buy it. You're going to overpay generally whatever you're buying. That's just how it is today. The prices have gone absolute bananas. I mean, I personally would try to find a better deal somewhere else. Look at private individuals, see what you can find out there. But the prices have gone semi-bonkers. If you have a mechanic check it out and he says, yeah, it's really got 70,000 miles, it's in good shape, it can last a long time. I got customers with CR-Vs that have 350,000 miles. They still run okay. That's just the way things have gone. They've gone totally bananas. Do have a mechanic check it out. Make sure that's the real mileage. If it is, it could be a great car, and the money, I can't do anything about that. That stuff has just gone bonkers. All right, here we have the extreme hypocrites of General Motors. They now say that they're recognizing the California authority to set vehicle emissions. Now, if you remember when old Donald Trump was in and they said, oh, California can't make all these extra regulations for the car manufacturers. Well, GM agreed with it then. Oh, yeah, we love that. But now that Joe Biden is in and the Democrats, now they're blowing to the other side and saying, oh yes, we recognize it. Guess what's behind some of this? Greed. California, the state, buys a lot of vehicles. And they said they're not going to be buying these GM vehicles because they don't agree with our rules that we have on cars and pollution. This move makes GM eligible for government fleet sales by the state of California. Like the saying goes, follow the money. We care about the environment, says GM, blah, blah, blah. No, they want to sell cars to the fleets of the state of California, and that's why they turned this one around. You remember when Trump was in? They backed an effort to bar California for setting their own emissions. And now, well, they're turning a 180 and turning around because they want to sell cars to the state of California. Hypocrisy reigns supreme. And I quote, here's the most hypocritical statement I ever heard in my life from the same company that wanted to stop all the emission stuff when Trump was president. The GM spokesman says, GM is joining California in our fight for clean air and emission reduction as part of the company's pursuit of a zero emissions future. Blah, blah, blah. What a bunch of hypocrites those people are. Hey, whatever way the wind blows, they're bending. We're going to stop tailpipe emissions from our new vehicles by 2035. It's a long time from now. As the wind blows, so do the corporations. It's blowing to the left now, but I imagine the next election is going to blow back to the right when people get sick of all this baloney disguised of we care about the environment. All they want to do is sell cars to them, so they'll appease them by whatever wording that they think will work. Carter Olson says, could a clogged catalytic converter or broken air intake cause a slight jerk when letting off the gas? Well, yes, it could, but if you have a broken air intake or a clogged catalytic converter, you're generally going to get the jerking when you're accelerating, not decelerating. You got a problem in your air intake and it's broken, it's sucking air. It's going to happen just as much as when you accelerate as when you decelerate. And a clogged catalytic converter, you're going to have real problems accelerating. When you get a jerk when you let off the gas, you either have a broken motor mount or something like a vacuum leak. When you take your foot off the gas, the engine doesn't run right and it jerks. Or, and I see this a lot, especially if it only occurs when you let off the gas, you could have a problem internal to an automatic transmission. I had a Toyota like that years ago. It was 25 years old. When you let go, it would have a little bit of jerk at times, and it was the transmission. It was a little bit weak. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.